If loud rooms feel like tests, you're not alone. What looks like shyness is often your brain running an early warning system, and today you can make a crowded room feel a little more human. Here's a quick win you can use right now. Ask yourself this 5-second question. If this were truly a test, who is the grader and what is the rubric? If you can't name both, it isn't a test, it's a room. There's a moment at the doorway that you know too well. Your feet pause. Your mind does fast math on voices, faces, lighting, where to stand, what to say. It feels like every eye might swivel if you breathe too loud. That spike isn't proof that anything is wrong with you. It's proof your prediction system is excellent at spotting possible danger before your conscious mind catches up. Brains that learn to scan early keep scanning. You can pick up tiny changes most people breeze past, a laugh that sounds off, a tone that dips, a glance that lingers. That accuracy helped before, especially if growing up meant guessing the weather inside other people. It just gets tiring when every living room wants a weather report. There's also the replay after a party. You come home and your head starts a movie marathon. Why did I say that? Did I talk too much? Did I talk too little? Small moments stretch into billboards. One awkward sentence eclipses 3 kind smiles. The replay is your nervous system, trying to keep you safe next time by finding patterns. It doesn't know when to stop unless you teach it a kinder ending. Naming what's happening helps more than perfection does. I use 3 ideas to make nights like this gentler. Name the game, shrink the room, and kind replay. Name the game works because words calm alarms. When your thoughts race, a simple label moves you from performance mode to connection mode. Here's how to do it today. The next time your feet slow at a doorway, or your stomach drops when your name is called, say to yourself, "My brain thinks this is a test." Then pick a role that isn't a contestant: guest, neighbor, cousin on the couch. That tiny rename changes the job you think you have to do. Picture a birthday where you were bracing for a speech that never came. You decided your role was guest, not performer, and suddenly small talk felt less like a stage and more like passing the chips. Shrink the room works because crowds feel like an audience even when no one is looking. Narrowing your focus reduces the sense of being watched. Do it today by choosing one anchor the moment you walk in. One person at the snack table, one friendly detail on the wall, one simple topic you actually care about. You're not trying to be fascinating, you're trying to be present. At a work thing, you might spot a quiet colleague near the bookshelf and say, "I keep meaning to read that one. Any good so far?" That's a human-sized doorway into the night. Kind replay works because your head values the story it hears last. If the last story is a trial, the next invite feels like a sentence. Give yourself 60 seconds at home to write down 2 plain facts and 1 kindness. I arrived. I spoke with Maya about her dog. I left when I was done. You're not judging the night. You're closing the file with something true that doesn't sting. The next morning feels lighter because the movie ended on a soft frame. There's a small story that might sound like your life. You're invited to a friend's birthday in a bar that feels a little too bright. You walk in and freeze just inside the door. Voices blend into a single wall of sound. Your eyes search for a safe place to stand. You spot the cake and pretend to read the icing. A classmate waves, and you wave back with a smile that feels pasted on. You think you talk too fast. You think you laugh too loud. Later, the replay tries to make a case against you. But in the middle of the night, you remember one tiny moment you didn't count. A stranger asked where you got your jacket, and you both laughed about how the pockets are always fake. For those 30 seconds, you weren't surviving. You were there. That counts, even if your brain forgot to circle it in red. Your body believes evidence more than pep talks. So, create small pieces of evidence that the room is just a room, a single conversation about something low stakes, a minute spent with the dog in the patio, a nod to the host that says thanks for having me. None of that wins awards. All of it feeds your sense that you can exist without performing. Part of what makes these nights hard is a quiet fear of being judged. Eyes feel like spotlights. Pauses feel like verdicts. Most people aren't grading you. Most people are managing their own little storm and wondering where to put their hands. Seeing that common humanity doesn't erase the nerves, but it softens the edges. You can make it easier to begin by choosing a tiny opener you reuse, a compliment on something specific that isn't about appearance, a question about how someone knows the host, a comment about the food that doesn't require taste expertise. Reusing one opener across rooms doesn't make you fake. It makes you kind to your future self. If talking feels impossible at first, you can still participate without words. Help carry plates to the sink, hold a door, offer a napkin when someone spills. Quiet actions are social glue. They say I belong here without a speech. There's a belief many people carry that they need to be more interesting to deserve a place. What actually makes a conversation feel safe isn't dazzling stories. It's the feeling that the other person isn't secretly keeping score. Curiosity beats cleverness in most rooms. You're already good at noticing. Aim that skill at the person in front of you instead of at your own performance. Not every night needs to be long to count. Decide ahead of time what enough looks like for you. Maybe enough is 20 minutes and a single real moment. Maybe enough is saying hello to the host and one other person. Knowing your own finish line lets you stop running imaginary races. You might worry that leaving early means you failed. Sometimes leaving early is how you protect tomorrow. No medal appears for staying longer than your system can handle. You're allowed to measure nights by kindness, not by endurance. The single sentence you can carry into a room is this: this room is not a test. I only need one real moment. If the doorway is still the hardest part, play with the order of arrival. Being a little early can make a room feel like a house instead of a theater. Being fashionably late can help you slide into a conversation already in progress, so you don't have to build one from the ground up. There isn't a correct answer. There is only the version that makes your shoulders inch lower. You may run into someone who talks over you or pokes at your quiet. Their reaction is about their comfort with silence, not your worth. You don't owe anyone a performance to keep them comfortable. You get to be the person who likes slower talk and honest pauses. If a conversation derails, you can steer it gently without a speech. Ask a new question that points to safer ground. Mention you promised to check on the host and move 3 steps. If you forget and freeze, the night isn't ruined. You can always start again with a new person at the chip bowl. When the replay starts at home, notice how it tends to erase the parts that went fine. The hello you offered, the person who smiled back, the silly story about the dog. Those moments don't show up in the prosecution's file because they don't support the case. Your job isn't to argue. Your job is to add the missing pages. None of this turns you into someone else. The goal isn't to become loud or fearless. The goal is to stop taking your temperature every 30 seconds and let a night be only a night. Some will be easier than others. That's normal. In case you want words to store for next time, name the game so your brain stops pretending you're on a stage. Shrink the room so you can meet one person instead of an audience. And kind replay. So tomorrow isn't ruined by a movie that exaggerates your worst angle. If any of this made your next doorway feel a little less like a test and a little more like a chance for one real moment, you don't have to do it alone. Subscribe so these reminders keep finding you on the days you need them most. And so, we can keep learning gentler ways to live with loud thoughts and crowded rooms together.